So I want to show you how to set up a stereo aux basically from 0 to 100. This is on an Allen and Heath GLD 80. It'll work on a 112 as well. You can see up here on my status that I just have the Surface and one AR, the 2412 box. So we'll kind of talk through everything. If you want to see what outputs you have in the moment, what inputs as well, the meters button will give you kind of just a quick overview of what you've got set up already. So for my board, we've got these are mono auxes, these are stereo auxes, and then our main left-right output. So that represents 20 outputs. You can mix and match your outputs to some degree how you want them. To do that, you can go to Setup. We're going to go to Config, and this is the screen that'll let you pick where you want your outputs to go. So again, we've got 20 assigned. Stereo auxes or stereo anything really counts as 2. So we've got 12, the left right is 14, plus 6 is 20. So we have all of our outputs going to our mains plus auxes. You could choose matrix and groups. But I'm going to try and stay away from audio theory and maybe what those different outputs do, why you would use them, or any of that, other than just to say a stereo aux is a left and a right. So if you need to adjust this, you just tap what you want to adjust, turn your wheel, and then you'll hit the apply button if you want to make an adjustment. Once you've got that, you want to place your outputs somewhere on the board that makes sense. Let's see how to do that. Setup. We're going to stay in setup. We're going to go to control, and control is where you would place an output. Down here, you're selecting which set of bank. All right, you can see the white line. This is bank 1. This is bank 2. All right, so right now we're on bank 1, layer A. And this actually says bank 1. Here's our layers, A, B, C, D. Bank 2, A, B, C, D. All right. I'm gonna put an output on bank 1, layer C. I've got a bunch of blanks over here. And right now I'm looking at all of my inputs. I don't want effects, I want mixes. And then I'm gonna grab stereo aux 6. That's the one that we're gonna set up today. Stereo aux 6, I'm gonna bring it over here and drop the master over there. So let's go over to bank 1, layer C. Over here on the left side is now our new stereo aux number 6. I keep all of our auxes and our master fader up here on the right, and I do keep my outputs aux sends purple. That's just what I do. I try and keep the color scheme consistent for what type of output. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that, and let's give it a name too for funsies sake. So we've got the channel selected. We're gonna come, so whenever you deselect a button, you get processing. So here's our processing screen, and we're gonna select up here. We're gonna just call it new for now. You could call it lead or whatever, and then we need to make it purple because that's all of our outputs. And close that. All right. So I'm not going to process it. That would be a separate video. So now at this point, I've got the aux and it's set up, but I do need to actually plug in, like I've got an in-ear monitor system, a wireless in-ear monitor system. So I need to be able to plug in, remember I've got this AR2412, I need to plug in the actual outputs from my stage box and plug that into the wireless monitor system. So let's, over here on our buttons, go to I/O, which means in, out. All right. We don't use the expander, and so this is where I'm going to modify it. Pretend this is my 2412. This is actually it. We use all the outputs, and I'm not going to mess with it. So if this was the actual AR2412 or an actual expander, select which physical socket you want to assign, and down here is where you will tell the board what kind of output you want it to be. I want it to be a stereo aux, and in case you weren't, I didn't have it on camera, the rotary will move that selection, but then you do actually have to tap it. I wish this clicked and it would select it. Stereo aux. And we're, just in case you don't know, since we did name it stereo aux new, it doesn't show its number anymore. So we're gonna press this Alt view just in case we forget what number it is. It's number 6. So that's, again, this Alt view button, whenever you press it, it's showing its stereo aux number. Number 6. And you can see here that you can assign a range. So we are going to assign left and right. We have to do both. Whenever I'm going to turn and make this one more selection, left and right. So Allen and Heath is automatically doing it in sequence, saying, all right, here's 6 left, here's 6 right. We're gonna hit apply, and there it is. 6L and 6R, both of them named new. So now at this point I'd run back to my rack, which is back behind there. Go behind the hallway. Anyways, run back there, take an XLR, plug it into that socket, and to the left of my wireless in-ear system, take a cable into that socket, plug it into the right of the in-ear system. Wonderful, I've got an aux, and then you can start mixing stuff. So I have a separate video explaining how to mix auxes, but real quick I'll explain how to pan the stereo aux. So if I wanted to pan, since it's a stereo output, divide those by left, right. That's on these rotaries. That's the easiest way to get to it, is on these rotaries, and you just change this rotary option to pan. Whenever you do that, you can see here, this little thing changed. So hand, I'm gonna send it over to the left side, and 42L2, I'm gonna send it to the right side. I hope that clears up how to set up a stereo aux or a mono aux. Just ignore the stereo piece of it, how to set up an aux from scratch.